the things in this book?
The attention has been absolute, Peter. The reach of the fallout from this book and the focus on the book has been consuming everybody's attention as far as the political journalists are concerned, the newsrooms themselves. It's just absolutely, really. What we're also seeing too is that since this book was released, and since Monday in particular, the person who hacked the correspondence of the attack blogger Cameron Slater has begun releasing large chunks of the raw data. That's all the email correspondence between the main protagonists, etc. And I'll get into all of that just in a minute if people are not aware of that. But the revelations in this book and the revelations in the raw data are completely damaging. They're damning, and it demonstrates, in some ways, the raw data, it demonstrates the accuracy of the claims made in investigative journalist Nicky Hager's book, The Dirty Politics. Now, that was an important part of this, in particularly because when the book came out, the strategy of the Prime Minister and the National Party, the Nationals that are in government here, so the full weight of the government was to demonise the author, Nicky Hager, to the line that was being sown to newsrooms and television and radio time and time again from almost every person in the government, from the Prime Minister down, was this is a conspiracy theorist, a left-wing conspiracy theorist, this is a left-wing attack on the government, and those lines were repeated over and over and over again right through from when it was launched mid-last week to Monday morning. And the Prime Minister was then starting to fast realise that his line was not getting any traction, Peter.
Okay, so let's get some details on the fallout. So what sort of fallout has there been?
Yeah, the fallout, and in particular how the revelations in the first instance, they show how the national-led government has been exposed for having orchestrated through the Prime Minister's office. This is the claim in the book in particular. Black operations on its opponents, its opposing factions within its own party, and against the media itself. Significant journalists in the country have been the target of a black operation. What I mean by a black operation is when a person or an individual or a group or organisation, in this case a party, elements within a party, seek to dig up the dirt on others that they want to discredit. And then once they have got that dirt, if there is dirt to be found, then they use that to destroy the reputations and the careers of their opponents or people they suspect have been operating against their interests or wishes. Significant revelations, and I've got about 4 or 5 main points here, and we can, this will give the listeners an idea of what has been going on here. The Justice Minister is a woman called Judith Collins, who enjoyed the reputation of having the name Crusher Collins.
That's right, yes,
made a career.
Before, yeah.
Yes, spoken about her before. Now, her relationship with this attack blogger, Cameron Slater. Now, Judith Collins, the emails show, the raw data shows, and it was referred to in the book, that she provided her attack blogger Cameron Slater the name, the title, the department, the division, the landline phone number, the cell phone number, and the fax details of a respected public servant that she suspected of leaking information that was damaging to the government, particularly the Deputy Prime Minister. The public servant ended up getting death threats when the blogger did his attack hit on him, but naming him and his reputation and all the details surrounding him. In the end, he was found to have not leaked anything and is respected down in the capital city, Wellington, for his professionalism, irrespective of what party has been in government. That's one of the...
Gee, that's pretty serious stuff, isn't it, when he's found to have been, totally innocent.
Yeah, and there's also what comes through as a systematic pattern where the Prime Minister's representative, he's a person that is represented as advice to the Prime Minister, has worked in the Prime Minister's suite, a man called Jason Eade, who provided details and information to the same attack blogger, inside information that would damage the reputations of their opponents, the media in some cases, and also other information on fellow party members and officials. So that's another thing. The Prime Minister, the same Prime Minister's representative, and an Auckland-based member of the of the party, and also this particular person is a former city councillor, and the attack blogger Cameron Slater. They accessed the opposition Labour Party's servers, the internet servers and things like that, and they allegedly, and I say allegedly here because there's discussion around whether or not there is a crime that has occurred here. So allegedly stole the private information of its members, activists. This is the Labour Party's members, activists, the credit card details, correspondence, and then it appears in the raw data that they conspired to use that to basically fuel hit jobs on their opposition during the 2011 election campaign. So this is the nature of of what is coming through and what has transpired. It appears there was a hit job designed around trawling the records of massage parlours, the prostitution businesses throughout, particularly the Auckland region, for any detail on any politician, especially targeting the Mayor of Auckland, Len Brown, who was found to have been having an affair for quite some time. Cameron Slater, the attack blogger in particular, was using the prostitution network contacts he had there to hunt down if the Mayor and others, any politician here, had used such services. If so, what were their preferences, if you want to put it that way? How much the individuals paid and how often, when, dates, the whole thing. Also, there was how the attack blogger Cameron Slater was released official information from the Security Intelligence Service earlier than it would normally be the case. The allegation is that the Prime Minister's office arranged for the SIS, that's the Security Intelligence Service Director, to release information that would be damaging against the then leader of the opposition, Phil Goff. This allegation, I've got to point out, is now under investigation. Yesterday, Peter, the Inspector General of Intelligence and Security, she initiated an inquiry under her own prerogative based on the high public interest surrounding this particular allegation of political interference is the allegation in what is obviously a very serious extension of executive government. So with that, I've just got to add on there too that I was in receipt myself of that information early, that there were two people in the country that got that particular information released to them early, and I was one of them, and I've publicly spoken on both newspapers and radio about the process of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes through. Why I would have got it is probably based on subjective, it's subjective trying to evaluate at this stage, but I kind of wonder myself whether or not releasing it to me was legitimising the release in some way to someone obviously that's going to use it for a different means. So that is the backstory, the fallout, if you wish. We can go into that at this juncture and
we would like to take a quick break, Selwyn, which we need to do, and we'll do that. And, certainly, be interesting to find out what your Prime Minister's reaction to it to start with, I think. How he's handled that. Just take a quick break. We'll be back. Selwyn Manning joining us from New Zealand from livenews.co.nz.
Leon Biner. Given Clive Palmer's outbursts in the last few days.
And I don't mind standing up against the Chinese bastards.
Sitting alongside Penny Wong, do you think this will have any influence over what China thinks of Australia? Or do you think they'll see that for what it is?
I think the words used, you can see how people have taken them as being offensive.
Leon Biner, weekday mornings from 9 on 1395 5AA.
This is Oliver Mitchell, 6 years old, consented for removal of primary brain tumour, right frontal incision. He's been given antibiotic prophylaxis 5 minutes ago. Blood products type and screen are ordered, x-rays are up, surgical safety checklist completed. Doctor, are you ready?
Let's begin. Craniotome.
Brain cancer kills more children than any other disease. Don't let them fight it alone. Donate now at curebraincancer.org.au.
Graham's a keen cyclist. He's not a pro or anything, and he's only just plucked up the courage to wear Lycra. So if he had a fall and broke his wrist, SportsMed SA is there to help him get back on track and back on the bike. With a modern specialist hospital at Stepney and a team of expert orthopaedic surgeons, Graham could be back on his bike in no time. New Lycra and all. Ask your doctor for a referral to SportsMed SA. Visit sportsmed.com.au.
For 30 years, Steinborner Holden in Gawler has been well worth the trip. And right now, you'll save on SA's largest selection of low-K executive-driven vehicles direct from Holden. VF Commodore, all models now available from $25,990. That's right, $25,990 for current model Commodore. And Series 2 Captivas from $19,990. Incredible value. Call 8522 4222 or go to steinbornerholden.com.au. Steinborner Holden. It's well worth the trip. S975BCB. Excludes government charges. LMBD 2833.
The Mawson Lakes Hotel is one of the biggest in SA. But that doesn't mean they forget the little people. No way. Kids eat free at the Mawson Lakes Hotel Monday to Friday. Yep, every Monday to Friday between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. The little person eats free with an adult main meal purchase. The Mawson Lakes Hotel, one of the biggest in SA, but also looking after the little people. The very proudly South Australian Mawson Lakes Hotel. Hit mawsonlakeshotel.com.au.
Talking Adelaide with Peter Godfrey on 1395 5AA.
20 minutes past 5 now. Selwyn Manning joins us from livenews.co.nz in New Zealand. Dirty Politics, the title of a book and the subject of our discussion this morning. So, first question, Selwyn, with all the revelations and fallout from this book, what is John Key? How's John Key responded?
Well, he responded right in the initial sense, as I mentioned in the previous part of this bulletin, Peter, with the attack line saying that the author has a reputation of being a conspiracy theorist. He is saying that he's colluded with left-wing activists to discredit the government's chances of retaking the Treasury benches or winning this election that goes to the vote on September the 20th. He keeps repeating that line that this is a left-wing conspiracy against my government and my party and my people, saying once again that the author of the book is a conspiracy theorist himself, and this went on and on and on right through last week, right through the weekend. On Monday morning, the Prime Minister fronted on Radio New Zealand for an extended interview with Guy Espiner, a significant political journalist and one of huge experience in this particular area. And the Prime Minister was ground down on those points and really challenged on how unacceptable they were, considering the factual base of the material that was presented in the book. By later on Monday morning, the raw data began to be released, Peter, and that raw data is not being challenged by the government or the main people that are mentioned in the book. That raw data is completely damning. The Prime Minister then has been trying desperately to get ahead of this issue to the point where he walked away from an interview with journalists about this very topic, particularly on what he was going to do about the Justice Minister having been found to have sent the name and details of a public servant to an attack blogger, a friend of hers, that information was used to discredit and basically do a political hit job on that particular public servant. The Prime Minister said back only a couple of months ago that the Justice Minister, we're talking the Minister of Justice here, was on her last warning as far as things that were contrary to the culture of how a minister should operate. That was relating to the scandals around the Aurovita issue, which was when she was in China. She was found to have given the appearance of looking after the interests of her husband's business, which her husband was the director of. And she was put on her last chance there. Now the Prime Minister was put into a position where he is looking weak in his leadership, that there are questions about why he is keeping the Justice Minister on when she has obviously been found to have been damaging the government and the party's interests once again and the public interests once again. And he said, this is because it's retrospective. She did it before the last warning. So then the Prime Minister became the focus of ridicule throughout social media on that. The Prime Minister's handling of it at the moment, yesterday there was a change in tactic. He had gone back to the campaign basics, turning up at friendly and favourable small business businesses putting on the smiley face, giving the appearance to the cameras and any media that would produce it of a smiling, happy, and all of these allegations are there, but this isn't having any effect on us kind of look. The problem here is what is developing, Peter, for the Prime Minister is there is an apparent and obvious rift amongst the various factions within the government now. For example, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Finance Minister is a man called Bill English, and the pre-election economic forecast, a thing we call a PREFU here, that was his day really to show that the government's plans and what they were preparing for and opening the books to everybody to have a look was his day to basically show that he had been doing a good job. It was overshadowed by allegations that Judith Collins had used that hit that we've been referring to actually get him out of the mess a few years ago, and he was saying, this isn't my style of politics. I wasn't after any revenge. That might be that style of politics, that's not mine. And then he gave a lifeline to the Prime Minister in a sense by saying it's not John Key's style either. But then that wasn't picked up by John Key. Okay. He didn't cause any distance to Judith Collins, etc., etc. It goes on. The Prime Minister's advisor that we spoke of, the representative of the Prime Minister, a man called Jason Edwell, he's gone to ground. No one knows where he is. The media's reaction.
Yeah. So we're just about to run out of time. So, and just quickly, if we can, before we do run out of time, what's been the reaction from Kiwis, public?
The public, there'll be polls, no doubt, that will be coming out this weekend, so we'll start to get an idea. Yeah. Before all this came out, the government was dropping down to around 47%, so it's getting into that area where it's delicate for it to be able to resume office. There was quite a sizable proportion of no voters, ones who hadn't decided yet. One would imagine that this kind of stuff would be very damaging to Nationals' interests in that way. The public's view, when they've been canvassed by the media, which has been considerable, is one where they are saying, even in the Justice Minister's electorate, that the kind of person they would be voting for is one of integrity, one that is honest, and one that has a reputation of being, clear and open. Now, that seems to be contrary to what you would expect as the brand now of Judith Crusher Collins. Yeah,
indeed. And, of course, with all of this in mind too, you're only a month out from your election?
Exactly, yes. It's September 20th, the Saturday, September 20th, when we go to the polls.
Yeah, a month.
So the government is desperate to try and get back onto policy. It's the danger here for the government, the Nationals that are in government here. The problem for the Nationals is every time they mention policy now, the public will be looking through a different lens at what it's doing. Yeah,
interesting times ahead. All right, Selwyn, many thanks for joining us. Have a great week. We'll find out more next week, no doubt.
Okay, Peter, take care.
All the best. Selwyn Manning in New Zealand. Head to livenews.co.nz for more.
Talking Adelaide with Leon Biner.
Thanks to the Optical Superstore. Precision multifocal lens satisfaction or a 100% money-back guarantee.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 1395 5AA.
Coles 100% Aussie beef sausages 1.7 kilo pack. Down and staying down to just $7 every day. 1.7 kilo pack, no added hormone, gluten-free beef sausages. Just $7 today and every day at Coles.
Got tablet troubles? Have a Bex, lie down and wait for Geeks to You. Australia's greatest geeks will come to your home or office and fix any tablet tantrum. Constant crashing, no internet. Geeks to You can fix it all. For fast, friendly same-day service, call 1300 Geeks to You. That's 1300 433 572. No one fixes computers like a geek. geeks2u.com.au.
Oh, I've got lots of ideas.
Looking at doing a big retaining wall.
And then some sort of edging.
With lots and lots of pavings.
Get rid of that garden shed. I need to get some road base. White pebbles, some sort of quartz, and then build a retaining wall around.